Welcome to The God of All Seasons, Episode 2, The Ecology of the Soul. Let us begin.
Most of us want to live in a state of perpetual summer. We want the sun shining, our careers peaking, and our relationships thriving, with every single day delivering a high rate of constant output. But the weather always breaks. The harvest dries up, you lose a job, a relationship ends, or you find yourself sitting in the quiet isolation of having to start completely over. It feels like a total shock to the system. Our instinct is to fight this shift. We push harder, trying to force cold soil to yield crops out of season. That resistance leads straight to burnout and bitterness, leaving us convinced that our circumstances are punishing us. Treating a period of low output as a failure completely misunderstands how growth actually happens. It holds us to a standard that literally nothing in nature is built to sustain. Human beings are not mechanical machines, expected to turn like grinding gears on a factory line. We are a part of the natural world, governed by its rhythms. Our personal and spiritual lives demand a distinct cycle to stay resilient, a time for aggressive growth, a period to enjoy abundance, a season to let things go, and a phase for deep rest. Every single phase in this cycle possesses a required biological and spiritual utility. You cannot skip the painful or stagnant periods without damaging the health of the entire system. By understanding this ecology of the soul, we can stop suffering through life's inevitable changes and start utilizing them. Spring is the season of renewal. It requires deliberate planting. A new idea, career path, or fresh mindset forces its way into the light. But new growth is highly vulnerable. The exact moment you plant a good seed, psychological weeds grow right alongside it. Discouragement, old grudges, and the intense gravitational pull of your comfort zone threaten to choke out the new life. When Wilbur and Orville Wright began designing aircraft, they lacked formal training. The scientific community ridiculed their designs, viewing human flight as a physical impossibility. The brothers actively ignored that skepticism. They pushed through intense public doubt and mechanical failures until they achieved sustained, powered flight over Kitty Hawk. A successful spring demands fierce mental resilience. You must protect your fragile new ideas from both external doubts and your own internal fears. Eventually, the weather warms up and hard work yields a tangible harvest. Summer is the season of high yield, visible success, and deep satisfaction. The greatest threat you face during a season of plenty is not failure, it is the quiet creep of pride and the temptation to hoard what you have earned. The biblical parable of the rich fool tells the story of a wealthy man who experienced a massive harvest. Instead of sharing his excess, he tore down his barns to build even bigger ones. He died that very night, surrounded by resources he refused to let flow outward. Sustaining success requires active defense mechanisms. You must practice rigorous gratitude, keep a record of blessings, and actively share your yield. Summer tests your character. It proves whether you can manage significant abundance without letting the weight of it sever your spiritual grounding. Then the days shorten. Autumn marks the end of abundance, characterized visually by the shedding of dead weight to prepare for harsh conditions. Shedding is a biological imperative. If a tree keeps leaves into freezing months, trapped water expands, destroying branches. It drops them to conserve vital energy. Human life demands the exact same process. Autumn is the strategic pruning of outdated beliefs, toxic relationships, and past successes that no longer serve you. Walking away from something familiar feels terrifying. It often looks like a failure. But releasing those attachments is the only way to create the physical and mental space required for future opportunities. Clinging desperately to the dead leaves of the past only guarantees that you will not survive the coming cold, which brings us to winter, the season of forced dormancy. It is the most misunderstood and aggressively resisted phase of human life. Nature is perfectly willing to be still. Modern hustle culture, however, demands endless output, treating any pause in productivity as a weakness or character flaw. Yet winter possesses a hidden, essential utility. It is a period specifically engineered for deep reflection, prayer, and a total spiritual recharge. Embracing this deep inner stillness gives the Holy Spirit the space to replenish your heavily depleted energy reserves. Winter is not a penalty for failing to produce. It is a mandatory divine recovery phase that makes the next spring physically and spiritually possible. Constant, uninterrupted blooming is both a biological and a spiritual impossibility. True resilience doesn't mean forcing a harvest all year long. It comes from accurately identifying which season you are currently experiencing and fully surrendering to its unique demands. If you are in winter right now, you have to grant yourself permission to rest. If you're in spring, you need to find the courage to put seeds in the ground. By aligning with this divine rhythm, we stop being victims of our circumstances. We become people for all seasons, adaptable, deeply rooted, and entirely at peace, regardless of the weather outside.
Thank you for watching. Guard the ecology of your soul and remain rooted in God through every season.